Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the Star-Spangled Banner. Well, so sit back, put yourself more than 100 years ago. Our Heritage Band, which is just a selected few from the Missoula City Band, will get you ready for the City Band, which will be a patriotic concert. This is a historical concert. We are recreating the Buffalo Bill Band of more than 100 years ago. Buffalo Bill, besides being a scout, was the most famous man on the planet. The Buffalo Bill Wild West show was monumental. Toured Europe. He was the most famous man in the world, and his music speaks for it as well. We'll go back and forth playing music that was originally from his book or tunes that he played. Here is Home Sweet Home. Oh, got to shoot them. Okay, I'll talk. All right? I'll cue you, because some of the selections will be shorts in between longer ones. The idea of breaking it up some is because some of you folks might get tired of hearing marches. Not me either, but I realize that not everyone just loves marches as much as I do. It was the first rodeo. Buffalo Bill had the first rodeo. He had historical scenes, reenactment, the robbing of the stagecoach, the Indian attack. It was a circus in the middle of this huge tent, if indeed they were outside. They played the show in and out. It was a spectacular display. This is one of the tunes written by W.P. Chambers, who was a musician of the time that Buffalo Bill band director enjoyed so much that he made it a tune for an equestrian act. So they're out riding horses, and there are all kinds of acts on horseback. As a matter of fact, the band, even though for shows they would be sitting down on the parade getting ready for the shows, the band was also a mounted band. All right? These suckers played on horseback. That's next year. There, 6 8. Notice that the instrumentation is slightly different than our concert bands. We're not a recreation band, but we have some similarities to it. So the instrumentation is like most bands 125 years ago. It was the same instrumentation as when we did the 25th Infantry Band. The 25th Infantry Band was stationed here in Missoula, and we did them first how many years ago? 5 or 6 years ago. We've been revamping who we happen to be playing their music of. This is Buffalo Bills music with before the saxophone was enveloped. They were still trying to invent that sucker over in France. You know, I wish I would have kept. No. But the makeup of the band is slightly different. So a single flute or piccolo, an E-flat clarinet on top with the little dinky clarinet, 3 B-flat clarinets, and then playing the alto part is the alto horn. And for the first time ever in history, they get to sit in the freaking front row. This evolved into the F horn. Some people call it the French horn. The French had nothing to do with it, okay? And the nickname for it is the peck horn, because they spend most of their time pecking away. The tubas play and they play pa, 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 and we make fun of them like a chicken pecking corn, okay? And then covering the brass soprano is an E-flat cornet on top, right? A little dinky one. You'll see him picking it back and forth. It's a really cool sound. It gives this. Some people call this a brass band. It's not. Look at this clarinets and a flute. But this was the typical instrumentation. And then 3 B-flat cornets, and then 3 trombones. And sometimes when I beg, I ask Don to play a valve trombone, because it's a whole lot easier playing a valve trombone on horseback than it is a slide trombone. And then two tubas, you know, a full-size tuba, and then a double B-flat tuba, and then a little E-flat tuba. Don plays an E-flat tuba to give bass a little more sound. And then I cheat on percussion and just let him sit down and play kick drum with his foot instead of poor Wendy just sitting back there playing. No, it works out. The problem was that they hadn't invented the sit-down kick drum yet 150 years ago, and I'll take advantage of it. Michael will play both those parts. Here is skipping back and playing something other than a march. Listen to it. Oh, almost a march. It'll start off with Gary Owen. It wasn't Custer's favorite song. It was Keogh's favorite song, but it was also used in the Buffalo Bill Library. Here is Gary Owen.
It's okay, Gary.
I got it. God dang it. There you go. I'll give you next time. Just don't sit there and scoop the egg. after you heard the initial tune, it was a 3-for-1. That was Charlie's My Lover and something about No Place Like Home. What was that last tune? Annie Laurie. There you go. We're jumping around the book. It's fun. Hey, so I missed one of the instruments in the band back there. The lovely and wonderful Josh Hungate playing the euphonium. I'm sorry, the lovely. Bill Sweeney conducted the Buffalo Bill Band for 30 years, and he wrote this as the exit tune for the entire whoop-de-doo. This is Buffalo Bill's Farewell March and Two-Step. We're not done yet, but it's just good programming to put it here. It starts and ends with trumpet fanfare. No trumpets. Oh, sorry. We don't have no trumpets in our band. They're all playing cornets. Disney stole it, man. That's a small world after all. We met for 45 minutes twice before city band rehearsal, and it's a bunch of fine musicians, and we, as you can tell, we have fun with it too. We played this show maybe 20 years ago with the full band, and I found it again, and it was like, oh my gosh, what great music! And I found it grown up enough myself to go, I wonder what it sounds like with the original instrumentation. This is what it was written for. And for years and years, I've been adapting things to the full band to play. It's so cool to hear what it was, how it was intended. All right, and we did We've done the 25th Infantry, we've done Custer before. We'll come back and do Custer again next year, and then back to this one in 2 years because I couldn't come close to half the music that I've got in the folder. What's the next tune? For all the Celts in the band, they're the British Grenadiers. All right. Just a little quickie in between. You know, when you're on horseback, you want to have tunes with a little shorter length to them, you know, just in case the horse starts to buck on you. Thank you. I did find, so the fellow that unearthed all this music in the Buffalo Bill Band was a colleague of mine. He taught music down in Powell, Wyoming. He's since passed, but he gracious enough to share the music with me years ago. Mike Masterson. This one was in his doctoral thesis, and I don't know if it was ever band arranged or not. I couldn't find it anywhere. He found like a piano score for it, and I asked Don Jaramillo, "Hey, can you make this into a full-fledged heritage band tune?" He said, "You know, the Pope from Chicago? Heck yeah, I can do that." He really didn't say that. I don't want to get him in trouble, you know. It's a sweet little march, and Lord knows if there's arrangement out there or not. There is now. What's the name of it? Buffalo Bill. Well, something to do with Buffalo Bill. Buffalo Bill. There we go. What a cute little ditty. So glad to be able to dig it back out and be able to bring it to life. It's so much fun. We're going to end up this set and then bring out the entire city band, which is half the audience out here with you. So if it's not you, it's somebody sitting next to you right now that's waiting to come up and play our patriotic set, which is fine. We're thankful to the fort for saving up the rain chill after we leave. I don't care if it rains this afternoon. We're good right now, man. I'm so glad about it. Thanks to Matt Lotzenheiser and all the folks for making it good for us. Every year it gets better for us. Ron Scholl is here with MCAT, so we can watch it again this winter in the coldness of our living rooms. This is back to, I think it ends with Home Sweet Home. I think there's three little ballad tunes, one after another. And it's rather anticlimactic because what I was doing is setting you up because the city band's about to come to the stage. Really, it's just because it's an alphabetical order. That's the only reason. And I had to say it out loud because the band's like, really? Alphabetical order again? And hey, is this working out? You can't see my butt behind this pole. Just go along with it, okay? join the band. Let's go. Hey kids, we're back. This is the Missoula City Band. Thanks for sticking around. A number of folks just made it out of their schedule to be here today to share a patriotic set with you. So if you don't want patriotic music, just go somewhere else. Because that's what we're doing. I don't think there's anything at all on the program that is written across the sea. You know, I tried to make sure he didn't play any of the English music at all. The most fun that I can recall from a 4th of July concert was we were getting ready to play, and this fella came up to the bandstand, had a little clarinet case. He said, "Hey, can I play with the band?" "Yeah, you got a funny accent. Are you from England?" He went, "Yes, sir." And it was just so much fun. I harassed him the whole time. You realize we're celebrating our freedom from you. It was so much fun. Hey, if you see a French horn, charm. Pac's daughter had this lovely necklace, and it used to have a little horn on it, silver. So if you look down and see something sparkle, pick it up and let's the beer tab, okay? But otherwise, I encourage you, if you find it, bring it on up at any time. We'll give you a prize. I'll give you a big kiss. No, they'll put it in the pocket and burn it. Hey, we're going to start with a favorite. It's just lovely, and it's programmatic that it starts far away. The troops, and you'll hear them get closer and closer. You'll hear melodies, military melodies, and then they arrive, and then at the end, they fade away until the very end, and there's a sudden flurry of activity, and there's a whole school of thought about what did Nietzsche mean by that? A sudden battle? Like a sudden victory? Whatever happened, it came out of Civil War times. This is American Patrol. It was such a popular melody that during the 40s, the big band writers ran out of original music, and we play this with our big band as well. They went, "Hey, wait, let's just take that song and swing it." Well, we're not going to swing it now. This is straight up, and it starts up with brutal metal drumming. Here's American Patrol. fun. It's like, oh, what happened here? Sorry, I forgot to remind somebody about the cut. He found it. In the same vein, it's real typical for programmatic music. Music that tells a story is to start with drummers far away, and then they come upon us, and then they fade away again. The same thing with the Battle Hymn of the Republic, the anthem from the Civil War. Please enjoy. We're going to bring Gretchen Smith up to sing Battle Hymn of the Republic. Welcome, Gretchen, to the bandstand. Yeah. He said, I prefer the microphone to stand, but maybe a little lower. All right. Got anyone out there likes to sing along with Kate Smith? Maybe you want to step up here to the microphone. Come on. Here's God Bless America. Hey, working some of the kinks out. That was better today than it was on Tuesday. Hey, Shania Twain came in town and put her concert on top of ours.
It's okay, it rained.
It rained anyway, that's right. You're welcome to come out and let us share our music with you on a regular basis. We play at the Bonner Park Band Shell every Wednesday for the rest of the summer, mid-August or something like that, with guest singers and artists all the time. It's a gas, and we invite you to come on out. And it never rains on our concerts. Hey. All right, take a look at the person with the best looking outfit here. This is another retired band director and a buddy of mine, and he's straight from Broadway. He's been singing on Broadway. He's now going to sing the Armed Forces Salute with us. Please welcome to the bandstand. Oh, I know that kid. Please welcome to the bandstand, Scott McKenzie. You lost your hat.
So as we go through the tune, and it plays all of the different songs in different areas of service. So when you hear, if you're a veteran or a current active member of the military, and we play your song, we invite you to stand. And I think that people will recognize that. Appreciate it. First to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army was rolling. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in Thee. Through servants strong and humble, I shall purpose be. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of the Potomac, we'll fight our country's battles from the land and on the sea. First to fight and freedom, and the people of our free. We are proud off we go. Navy. Anchors away, anchors away.
since I've got him here, let's abuse him. But this time, he's going to lead you in a sing-along. So if you weren't already singing along, now you're obliged to do such. Good. Tiffany Tunes on that little laptop. Scott will be back, promise. We'll just give his voice one tune off. Here is probably the most consequential piece of band literature that fits into the patriotic category. It's absolutely marvelous, and in case you don't know, that the arranger of this patriotic tune made one mistake in his life, and that was his son, and his son was the piano player in the duo. What the hell was it? There you go. See, I just erased it from my memory. He was the captain of the Captain and Tennille. Sometimes fathers are proud. I don't know if he was proud about this, but the boy should have been proud of his old man's arrangement of America the Beautiful. Picking up just in time. Just a glorious arrangement, even outside with the wind blowing us all crazy. I hate to do it, but nice job, trumpeters. It's a tough one to compliment. You don't want to compliment trumpet players very often, okay? They're worse than little brass. Hey. about dealing with compliments. Because you compliment, then you can't get them to ever play piano again. Hey, we've never done this with a singer before. It's about dang time, and you're gonna love it. Back to the mark is Scott McKenzie and the George M. Cohen tribute. It's yours, Scotty. Boy, put his hat on.
Gary, before we go, I think we may need to straighten out about Broadway. I'm really not off Broadway. I sang at MCT, which is on Broadway.
It wasn't that I was gonna let it hang. It's just that I couldn't remember what I was saying.
Happens all the time.
Oh, I want to salute something. Yeah. I believe this is a cue for us to pass it over to the MC, of which, because of the lovely additional tenting to keep our drummers and tuba players in shape, well, out of the rain, that we can't see their heads. But I think they're back there, and they are back. They turned my microphone off.
There we are. Hey everybody, let's have another big round of applause for Gary and the Missoula City Band over here. Thank you so much. What a great way to kick off our Independence Day celebration. Once again, the Historical Museum at Fort Missoula would like to acknowledge that we are in the Aboriginal territories of the Salish and Kalispel people, and today we offer our respect for their history and culture, and for their wisdom in caring for this place for generations to come. We'd also like to take a moment to recognize our veterans. Could all members or former members of our armed forces please stand, and we can give them all a big round of applause. Let's hear it for the veterans.